Good morning. This is Roy Perez for the Recontra Oferta newspaper, and today is uh, 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 September 21st in 2025. Yeah, today is a very special day for L.R.O.N News. It's the 14th anniversary. Yeah, in San Jose, California, in the United States. Yeah, it's been 14 years since. Uh, for the first time, the Recontra Oferta newspaper, I opened it up, in Facebook, the first pages, and the first videos, in order to deliver fresh news, especially, in the worldwide economy, U.S. and worldwide economy, yeah, since 2011, yeah, September 21st. In those times, as it was still, it was beginning the President Obama, administration, uh, and yeah, is in his first term after, in 2008, it was the economic crisis. President Obama took, the all the responsibility for, the economic crisis. It was a long period of time, the two terms until 2016, 2009, 2012, and 2016 until the first emerged that President Donald Trump, yeah, in 2017 on January 20, 2020. I'm sorry, 2017. I mean, yeah. L.R.O.N News, la Recontra Oferta newspaper was all about, delivering the news, especially, the American economy, domestic economy, yeah, because it was suffering, still the economic crisis. Well, officially in 2010, declared by President Obama, he declared, the official crisis was done, but the aftermath, from the economic crisis doesn't come, from overnight. So it's like in 2009, yeah, many people still not, but they don't have much common sense or knowledge, what's saying, okay, the economic crisis, it comes from one to the other administration. Economic crisis doesn't come from overnight. It takes time, it takes years to happen. Yeah, as economists, they have to reference, but then also explain why sometimes this economic phenomenon that happens, in every single period or single administration in the United States. The United States is the largest economy in worldwide, yeah, which is making more than $2 trillion, contribution for all around the economies around the world. Yeah, China, Mexico, Canada, the European Union, they take, the trade from the United States. Here in San Jose, in those times, still the mayor, or the former mayor, Chuck Reed, was in command until 2014. After, the economic crisis, San Jose City was in the crisis. In the mayor, Chuck Reed, and his 8 years economic plan, yeah, in order to retake and resume all, the city's debts, he take, some measures in order to strengthen first, in order to move forward, in order to San Jose, goes back what it was. It took like years over years in order to take him back to the mayor Chuck Reed, in the end, in 2014, on December, yeah, where is he make the peak of the San Jose City, yeah, as a capital of the Silicon Valley, yeah. Well, remember why? Because it's so many activities. I tell that because I was there looking and walking around San Jose downtown, and all the economic issues in San Jose. Yeah, San Jose was moving forward, yeah, and recovering economically and going up because San Jose, as a capital city, was a cluster, the high tech. Yeah. Well, meanwhile, now, yeah, California State too, under the command of Jerry Brown, yeah, is who was coming back from, he has 2 periods before years ago. He's coming back for the new 2 more periods here in San Jose. Yeah, it's until between 2010 2018 until 2019. The Lieutenant Governor Gavin Newsom, the former lieutenant, became a governor of the California State, the Golden State of California. Yeah, I think in 2010, California have that $27 billion deficit, so we're in total debt. But they make those economic restrictions in order to take back and make it plain and even, so in order to cover that deficit and it make it more profitable. L.R.O.N. had to step forward, yeah, in order to keep moving forward for California. One of these was the SB1. The SB1 was a tremendous bill. The SB1 California tax, gas tax. Yeah, it was done by the former state senator, Jim Bell, in 2017, on November 1st, and Governor Jerry Brown enacted it and keep moving forward until now. So, what was one of the propositions is because California needs to it has maybe $130 billion in one of the budget in that time, yeah, to get resources and incomes and revenues in order to fix all California. Yeah. California needs it, if you enacted it. But the plan is the gas tax, yeah, for the SB1 is collecting no less than $50 to $60 billion is the gas tax, But this gas tax S1 was the challenge twice, but still, yeah, survive, yeah, in order to help, and make it more easy, the California, yeah, budget, yeah. But those times, it will never, because when the an American, Gavin Newsom as a governor, he has some the same issues from the past, but even more deepens, the wildfire, and later on coming the COVID-19 emerged in March 2020. It was the struggle, from the worldwide, pandemic, COVID-19. Yeah, it was and the famous, speeches from the governor Gavin Newsom. They say, we have to take the new COVID-19 policies, yeah, the 6 feet, distance in order not to get contaminated. And also, the periodically, every single day you have to use a face mask in order to protect yourself. Yeah, yeah. To, like he said in the past, to stop the spread. Yeah, it was coming between March 2020 through all the year until ending December, when the President Donald Trump, finally he got, the COVID-19 vaccine. It was a tremendous struggle from 11 months when he's coming from China, Wuhan, China, in 2020. They were in that tremendous struggle, yeah, to stop the spread in order to overcome, and control, the epidemic over there in China. Yeah, the United States, for this Pfizer, Moderna, and J&J, Johnson & Johnson, yeah, they shut down the setup of the two doses COVID-19 vaccine. Yeah, At L.R.O.N, it comes for one booster, the second booster, in total making four doses. I personally got the 4 doses from Moderna, yeah, in order to protect myself, for the COVID-19. Many people don't some people don't believe that, but anyway, the cost for the United States was more than 1 million people dead because the contamination of the COVID-19. It was a tremendous struggle. Then also in 2020 on December, started general immunization. Yeah, the President Trump, his plans, the Operation Warp Speed. Yeah, general immunization for all Americans. Then also around the world, it was the AstraZeneca vaccine in Great Britain. The Russian, they made it the Sputnik 5, the doses, for the people that 60 years, but not recommendable for after 60 because it's probably was kind of really strong. Yeah, and also the Chinese, they have their own vaccine. Yeah. Well, the problem is how fast can we be vaccinated, in the United States. United States, have more than 1 million Americans, for the COVID-19. To the period, between when the United States closed, all around the world closed down, businesses and everything is closing, economy, airports and everything. It took up quite a while. With the process of the vaccination too, it was a little more harder too because President Trump lost, the elections, and emerged again, the former Vice President of the United States, Joe Biden, becoming President of the United States in 2021. He immediately, stepped forward and launched, $180 billion, budget in order to create, the manufacture and the distribution plus the creation of 88,000, COVID-19 sites in order to accelerate and put gas to the COVID-19 immunization, in the United States. It's very important when someone give it to, more in the United States because President Joe Biden in great act of the courage, he launched, the program for the United States to rescue Americans, to the rescue for all the countries which they do not have, enough resources in order to vaccinate its own people. Latin America, Africa, all the people, all around the world, more than 2 billion vaccines were the distribution and the contribution of the Americans to the world. Yeah. Well, so it was, the Russian Syria, all the people when it was around there, or Chinese, or the Great Britain, you would make donations in order to give it to the people who has the most needed, the most needed, who were, in the middle of the pandemic, the COVID-19, the necessity to the vaccination, it was a tremendous, tremendous job, it was after the full vaccination, it was 2 doses from Pfizer, Moderna, but also the creation of the one-shot vaccine from Johnson & Johnson. They created also the first booster, that should be the third, and 4 boosters, 4 doses in order to be 100% vaccinated and protected, from this tremendous disease spread all around the world. It was intensive, great struggle in order to vaccinate all the people around the world. Yeah. The thing is, in 2022, Recontra Oferta keep going, all around there, from the videos around San Jose, Sacramento, or San Francisco, in the time of the Christmas. Yeah. But the thing that we went through, it was also, in George Floyd times, through the pandemic. Many people, they think, why, what the people overreact to the news. In that time, we weren't vaccinated yet. Yeah. No vaccination, the only protection was, the face mask only. Yeah. I guess the closing economy is one of the main problems, because people was have a lot of free time. The free time, what they it makes some people got bored. The kids, students, it's sad explosion. Yeah, people blow up, for the death of the George Floyd. Yeah, it was around all the United States. Yeah, but it was like that. No. Well, President Joe Biden, also in that time, he made the retreat in the 2022 from the Afghanistan. Yeah, Afghanistan has to be it has to be done, and because the United States has spent over $1 trillion in 20 years. Yeah, as military residents over there. Yeah, in Afghanistan. 20 years later, the United States had to take a break and retreat, like it was in Iraq. Yeah, in the time the president. Well, 2022, 2020, the Ukrainian war. Yeah, the Ukrainian war was when it started in February 25. It's still on. Yeah, the intensity of the war, but also the European Union, in order to make peace with Russians. President Joe Biden tried really hard, but everyone, in the European Union, in the United States, what they help about, But it's going for 4 years, 3 years and a half. Yeah, how can we take, so much pressure from the Russians, keep, in the war with the Ukrainians, they invade Ukraine, but it's still on. There's so many issues, and so many, what can I say, in the war happens everything. And Ukraine still keep fighting in its own struggle. President Donald Trump, who when emerged with a second administration in 2024, they taken the White House Oval Office in January 20, 2025 to this year. They tried to stop the war in order to. They have zero intents, but the thing is, how can we stop a war? If they alleged, both sides, especially in the Russian part, how can we stop that war or making at least a ceasefire, permanent ceasefire, if there's not the willingness or what they need? Because the Russians already defined, they wanted, many things in question is why the European Union or United States, intervention in there. Why? Well, it's something that has to be defined already. But the thing is that Ukrainian war seems like it's not going to last more than this year, or maybe the beginning of the next year. That's what the analysts say. So, it's a long war, a very long war. But also, it's the Middle East. It's the attack from Hamas in October 7, 2023, and the terrible attack, because they mess around so much in there, causing so much death. And also the reaction of Israel with the civil attacks Gaza Strip, and Gaza Strip after is going to be 2 years and something, and it's still working. It's still in the fight. Hamas doesn't want to surrender, or they don't want to stop that war. There's back and forth. Back and forth. Then also Israel, counterattack. Now also in Gaza Strip, they counterattack even Iran. Yeah, I want to stop. That Iran has created a nuclear bomb. A warhead. Yeah, there's the idea, and they don't want to allow Iran, have it. Yeah, a tremendous attack over there. Yes, still, Iran is in the spot. For sure, because Hamas, has, so many issues, and it seems because they don't want to surrender, or they don't want to look for peace. It's just only, a ceasefire. So I said that Gaza is a total ruin. Yeah, it's many buildings are already down. It's a devastated city. Yeah, it looked like it was. It's a war in there. Yeah, the concerns, the attacked on the airport, Israeli airport. But the thing is that, it was also in the economic part. When the President Donald Trump comes back in the second term, that second term is with a new policy. If you remember, President Donald Trump in his first term in 2017 set up, the trade war against China. Why? Because it's so much the trade U.S. versus China trade deficit was until more $418 billion in 2018. Yeah. But the thing is, after President Trump's, for the COVID-19 era, he couldn't get a second term. So he went back, in 2025. Yeah. But his new policies, for the U.S. Trade tariffs, worldwide in the worldwide market in 2025. Mexico, he is doing, what he did in the first administration. He's doing the second administration, but right now it's a worldwide. So he's exercising the power of the purchase. He has the United States more than $2 or $3 trillion in that contribution to all governments around the world. Yeah, it's United States is taken back. Yeah, what is for the free trade agreements. Yeah, this is intervention the President Donald Trump. Yeah, what we call it's a micro and macro economy. Yeah, for those who understand economy, he's joining that. He's taking the chance. Yeah, he's taking the opportunity in order to taking back, money. Saying, in other words, creating revenues for the country. Yeah, and in my understanding as economist. Yeah. But another thing is going back. His first administration was the tax reform. The tax reform, done in 2017 for President Donald Trump, it was a tremendous economic complement, because in the past we have only the bailout in 2008, 2009 for the American economy crashed in 2008. But the thing is, this is going to be for everyone. He started with the 35 to 15% to the trade, the corporate tax bracket, but in the House, they raised it to 20, in the Senate 1 more percent. At least it was from 35 to 21%. Yeah, we help them out. Too many American corporations in order to stop or even bankruptcy. Why did we help them out? And also for those who has which they have a tremendous success, economic success, in the market, in the domestic market. They have a tremendous savings. They're taking back savings. Yeah, they don't have to pay 25%. They have to pay less than that. So President Trump in that time, he created the economic manufacturing council with all American CEOs, who are involved in the American economy, domestic economy. It was a tremendous success. But the thing is, with the tariff, it's a contradiction for many people. Making the tremendous inflation. But the inflation comes from, for the COVID-19, 4.5%, and in the invasion, the Russian invasion to Ukraine, the oil hikes went up until 10.5%. And inflation. So even the oil barrel was $120. And it was stabilized until the former President Joe Biden launched more than 350 million barrels in order to easy the oil worldwide market. Because if he doesn't do that action, the economy, the oil economy, it will be really up. Then is, as you know, the economy is when the oil goes up. It's a tendency. It's a tendency to make more inflation. The worldwide inflation wasn't also in Europe, but even more heavy than the United States. For the United States, in this time, it has between 2.7 and 2.9. Because it's the tariff. But it's right now is a policy, in American domestic market that was shut down for the next year. The challenge is, but the thing is, how your American corporation CEO can deal with the tariff inflation, minimal inflation for next year. So how are you going to address it in the market? In order to keep going the turnovers, be normal, or even exercise more pressure in order to exercise the revenues and incomes, and for each corporation, American corporation here in the United States. So right now it's two main issues. But also the crisis in Venezuela. Venezuela is his president is Nicolás Maduro. They call him Nico Maduro. He once accused for the drugs. United States president ordered in a straight order to get close, to the Caribbean in order to stop those shipments with the fentanyl. The fentanyl is a very powerful drug. It's killing many children. It's very powerful. I named it myself, the drug of the century, because it's so lethal, and if the people who make the consumption don't get control of that, they're going to be killed. It's also, in the Oval Office, President Donald Trump, was remember those children who died because of the fentanyl. The fentanyl is not, it's not a game. It's a drug, very powerful drug. It has to be stopped in order to get in, to the United States. This is one of the missions that President Trump is doing over there. They has 3 boats. It was located, by cameras. They are throwing, packages, to the sea, and the Caribbean Sea. But then also there's, as they say, there are drugs in there. So, how can we address this problem if the United States doesn't put any action? So President Trump has done this measure, military measure. Why? Because the U.S. Navy is already focusing in that area. Another one is the new policies for the immigration for unlawful people. Well, but I had to take one action. This is about DACA. Is deferral action, the childhood, arrival. DACA was founded, in 2012 by the former President Obama in June 15. After the DREAM Act was done, so it didn't get through in the Senate. It was 55 votes versus 41. It was short 5 votes. Senate was in order. DACA needed 60. I mean, the Dream Act in 2010, in December 2010. So President Obama, before, before elections, in his first administration, he set forward, and create, the deferral action of childhood arrival. I wanted to protect all the dreamers, more than 2 million dreamers. But as you know, is the immigrant policies is very strict. So if you don't have any background criminal records, you can get joined that. But not everyone qualifies. But at least we have a saving for that. Even the President Donald Trump, I can't let mention it. Donald Trump, is he wanted to make it double, 1.6 million. The DACA could be granted in order to get to the path to the residents in the U.S. citizenship, at maybe to 10 to 12 years. It was a good deal, but anyway, the disagreements, they couldn't get through. But one more time, DACA is in the spot. DACA still exists, it's still there, and the President Trump, has to take a decision. But like I said, these children under 21 years old in that time, for those who grew up in the United States, they were unlawfully. That's true. But the thing is, they went through in the high school, 8 degrees and bachelor's degrees, even a master's. Not too many, but they got educated. So if they officially they are, professional people who are already inserted in the American society, but not officially in the United States. That's why they created DACA. Ahora, DACA was claimed they have a social security and work permission, which is making officially. But still, nobody decided. President Trump is still, thinking of getting through this word is valuable, to grant it, and solve this problem, which is more than 13 years. Since it was created, from the former President Barack Obama. I believe, in my own opinion, I believe that we cannot toss him. These people are still, they're professional. They're working anything because they are educated. And the thing is, we need them. Why? Because they have to fill up those spots while we have empty. And then I believe, the stand for DACA is a priority, in order to solve this problem, as soon as possible, if they can. So President Trump, has worked, and also the Congress, it's and also TPS has the same problem. It's a long history since I remember. It should be 35, almost 35 years already, TPS. But the thing is, right now, the deportation of the illegal people comes from the most criminals, illegal, them being addressed by ICE and other immigration agencies in order to take them out of the country and be deported. It's a long project which is coming from ICE. It's all around the United States. It's the largest one, the biggest one has ever made for a president in the United States. Those are the issues here in our domestic economy, for the people who is looking for American dream. Well, America is like I said, what I learned in school is the energy of the immigrants make great America. You still keep doing it, even so, in the more difficult times. La Recontra Oferta newspaper was here always, delivering the news. in order to the people get informed, in order that the people get their own opinion and how the Senate has to address if they want to defend the DACA or not. California is one of the things. You see LA is the largest one. Yeah, not mention New York or Miami or in Florida or Chicago. Yeah, but the thing is, the immigration, the immigration deportation is one of the main issues, but also the new tariff, policies for the United States, to a worldwide economy in 2025. It's been that almost, 14 years, but it was years before until I get officially, in Facebook. Yeah. My eternal thanks, to Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg. Great job, Mark. Yeah, but also on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube was a great help, making the videos and all to post on Facebook and only to post, YouTube, but also on Twitter. Yeah, Elon, he did a great job in X. Yeah, and making the news, the news be accurate and also honest. Yeah, it's kind of hard, sometimes when the opinions, the controversy between both sides. Some people, some president has different visions, different ways to think about what is the economy, but also the foreign policies. The worldwide is all the world is always in danger. Why? Because the Russian war, or the Ukrainian war is not solved. It's still on. But also, the Middle East too. It's the two biggest issues right now here in the world. Yeah, President Trump, the actual president, is working on it, but it's not that easy to get through it with those people who are still willing, to keep going with the work, or the people who really want a peace, but that peace is not that easy. It has so many issues in there in order to stop that war, which is has so many casualties. Yeah, the Ukrainian war has more than 10 million Ukrainians fled the country all around the world. Yeah, and also the Middle East. Yeah, the gas is still the largest issue here over there in the Middle East. It's been 14 years, and we're still here. We'll stand up for the news. And this is a reporting for Recontra Oferta newspaper, Radio Perez, San Jose, downtown California, United States. Amen.